Well, Mike, I suppose we should start with congratulations, because you've gone from nomination for award to recipient, Manager of the Month. What does that sound like?
Yeah, it's pleasing, but like I said yesterday in the interview, it's humbling as well. When you think of some of the managers that were in the running for it as well and what they've achieved this month, people make the decision. I know who I would have given it to.
Who would you have given it to?
I'm not telling you. But listen, it's been a massive group effort from everyone involved. All right, my name's on it, but the work that's gone in from everyone. You've got Jenks, you've got Ben, you've got Mark, so many. Connor, I could go on. You've seen the picture yesterday that we had took. There's even more that could have gone on that. So for me, it's a team effort. It shows that we've worked really hard. But listen, we just got to continue to do that now. That's the full focus, and we know we've got 3 tough games to come. But try and use that and keep that hard work and honesty that's helped us.
How did the players react when they heard you were Manager of the Month?
I think they've seen a couple of them in the window banging and laughing out the gym window, and the picture was getting took and said, "Why aren't we on it?" So no, but listen, they congratulate you, but they're at the end of the day, they're the biggest part of it, because they're going on the pitch and playing. We're there to help them and try and get the best out of them.
Has that helped this week? Because I'm guessing the mood will have been slightly affected, because you've been in this lovely little run where you've picked up loads of points. Then all of a sudden it stops with the Villa defeat, and that's a different dynamic for you to have to get used to.
Yeah, it is. I think when you don't get the performance you want, everyone just thinks there's an easy. I spoke to lads about it, you can have a go 2 ways. You can say, well, just forget it, but we didn't do that. We said, right, okay, what can we do better from it? What can we learn from it? And we've spoke about it, the areas we need to be better in. Sometimes if you lose a game and you don't know why you've lost it, I think then you've got a problem. But we knew exactly what it was and the areas we could have been better in. Some of the things we did really well, and we couldn't get that final bit that we wanted. But no, the mood's been good. But it's human nature. I said after the game, you have to go through that bit of suffering after you lose. It's fine. It's emotion. If you don't do that, then it's not real. You've got to try and stay real with this. Some of the lads take longer than others to get over it. I'm the same. Saturday night, Sunday's a nightmare. The crap Sunday when you lose. But that's part and parcel of it. You can't ignore it. It's part of you getting over it and going. And each day you think, right, and all of a sudden, we know where we're at now. We know what we need to do.
What you need to do now is go to Spurs and deliver a performance and hopefully get a result on the basis of what you saw maybe on television last night against Arsenal. How tough a task is that going to be?
Listen, we know that's going to be a tough game, like every away game and every home game. We know they're a tough game. We know what Spurs do. I don't think you have to be. I think everybody will know in here what the strengths are, what they're good at. But you've got to have a plan and a belief in how you can go and affect them as well. You know the areas. It's crystal clear to me. I've watched that much of Spurs over the last week. I could probably play for them, but I'm not good enough to. But I know what they do, and they're good at it. But you just have to find a way and a plan to go. Right, okay, this is the next challenge that faces us now, like the game's gone before.
And how difficult is that to sort of analyse it, draw the plan up, but then you've got to sit there and hope that your 11 blokes put that plan into operation, haven't you?
Yeah, that goes for every game. You have a plan for the game, the strengths and weaknesses, what you do, what they do. And then it's obviously preparing the lads right, but as well going there with that calmness as well. That calmness, that focus, being aggressive in the right moments and attacking each moment. You've got to try and do that. The game ebbs and flows. So you've got to make sure in each moment, we know the areas that we'll need to get right. We know them. We spoke about them this morning. We've touched on it. We've done work on it. So we're building towards that. So by the time we hit the grass on Sunday, everyone's clear in what we need to do.
You mentioned calmness, and when you look at the game last night, red card. When you look at Leeds' last couple of games, red cards. We're at that really high pressure end of the season. How important is it that temperament's right as well as the tactics and everything else?
It is. I think you're spot on. I think the emotions that are around at this time of the season as well, for whatever reason, whether it's you fighting to stay in it or you're fighting for Champions League, I think that brings with it that emotion. It's trying to keep that discipline, but you've got to try and play on that edge. You've got to try and play it on that edge and stay within that calm focus. But making sure you're focusing on the work you need to do. It's easier said than done. You've got to try and shut out the noise. But I always think if you just submerge yourself in the work, in the game, these lads have stood on a football pitch how many times? They went to West Ham, they've done things before, big stadiums, big crowds. You just submerge yourself in the work and you just focus on that then. That's my experience. I've been playing and what I've seen as a coach as well.
But is it difficult? I mean, do you actually make a point of emphasising before they go down that tunnel in your final words before they go out? Keep your discipline, keep your shape.
Yeah, you always want them to try, because obviously there's a lot of information and a lot of things going before the game, and you just try and keep when the last few bits is clear your heads. Keep the calmness, but you've got to have that aggressiveness with the way you go about your work, but not crossing that line, and that's the key thing.
How's your team looking in terms of injuries? Because you've picked up a few in the last couple of weeks. How's everybody looking?
Yeah, we're going to be waiting on a couple till tomorrow. We've got a few here again. Jack Cork's a little bit, but he's back. He's training today. Tarky we're still waiting on with his hamstring. J Rod's out running. Ben Mee's starting to do some running as well. And Vid's obviously... when I spoke to you last week, we didn't know the full extent. Vids has had to have an operation on a cruciate. He played 60 minutes from when he did it with a torn cruciate. How he's done that, I don't know. So that's disappointing for the lad himself. I'm more gutted for him, to be honest, because he's been brilliant since I've been here. I had a text from him last night and this morning to see how he was. The operation's gone well. He went to see the top guy in London. So for him himself, it's about him just getting himself ready and that. But I'm really gutted for the lad himself, not from a selfish point of view with me. I feel for him more than anything else. So
without maybe Tarkowski and me, the possibility of that centre-half partnership not being available at all to face the likes of Kane and Son, that must be a big concern.
Yeah, no, we're still waiting on Tarky at this moment in time. We're still waiting, but listen, we've got players here, and it's proved. I said, I think it was before, I think it was a Southampton game. I said it would be a struggle for me to pick a team with what was going on, with the form of people. And I said to the group that, trust me, there'll be times when you're going to be needed. I've seen this part of the season before, and then times will come now. There's people stepped in and done really well. So that's part and parcel of it. There's a lot of teams I've seen now. I think City had 3 lads who've been going to be out for the end of the season. You just have to, that's part and parcel of the world we live in. You go again, you can make sure your lads that are ready to come in.
Tarkowski, no doubt, would be desperate to play, as would Ben Mee. How careful have you got to be not to gamble on fitness at this stage in the season? Yeah,
you've got to look at the big picture. I think you're right there. And you got to pick what you think's right. But at the end of the day, there's the players themselves. It's their livelihood and their bodies. I wouldn't push or risk anybody to play when they were injured. I wouldn't do that. I know a lot of players play with little knocks and niggles. They do. But if the players are right to play and they're fit enough, then they'll be up for selection. So.
And despite winning this manager award, you're now into 3 major games, high pressure football. Yeah. Can you look forward to
that? I think it's a tough one when you're saying about high pressure. That's always there.
Higher than usual, though, isn't it? Because you know if the results go against you, you could go down. Yeah, but I don't look at the results like that. I can't live like that. I don't live in the future like that. Why? I think you got to be careful that you look at things. I think when you're down these areas now, people can start to question you and start to have a go. And that's not saying you are, but I think you've just got to remember that you're taking a notice of it. You just keep fighting. You just keep going. You don't give in to it. You don't give in to it. You keep fighting, and you keep attacking the next day. And I think that's the best thing. That's how I was brought up. That's what I believe in. That's how I try and coach. That's my values on it. I've learned that along the way. The amount of knockbacks I've had. That's part. You got to come back. Relegation clearly a threat. and you've got to be pragmatic about that.
Yeah.
Do the players discuss it at all?
No, we spoke about after the Villa game. We spoke what they've actually done so far. Let's be honest. When we just first came in, there's nothing to do with me. They were written off, but they're still here. They're still here. They've not gone away, and that's credit to this group. That's the spirit that they've got, and that'll hold them in good stead for these 3 games. No one can predict what's going to happen in 3 games. You just got to be ready. Like I said, you never give in, and you fight. And you attack the next day. Just
wondering, does it starting to look more and more like it's going to come down to a final day shootout?
It could do. I think someone mentioned that last week. But I think for me, just finish above the line. Doesn't matter how you do it. The rest of it doesn't really matter. As long as you achieve that goal of what everybody knows, loads of people are fighting for the same thing, and we've got to make sure we're in that mix with it.
Sleeping all right?
Yeah, I'm sleeping good. Sleeping really good. I don't ever keep talking to you, Wilby.
On that note, I'll hand over. Thank you.
No problem.
Afternoon, Mike.
Hi.
Just regardless of whether Taki or Ben Mee are able to play on Sunday, are you expecting to potentially have them available for Thursday or Sunday? It's not necessarily that they're out for the season, either of them.
No, fingers crossed. That's what we want. That's what we hope. It's a day by day thing again with injuries. Some lads respond quicker than others. Some heal quicker than others, and it's one of them. We have a report from the doctor in the morning. We all speak about it, and they'll give us an update on where we are. But at this moment, it's a day-to-day thing.
I know you said Ben and Jay are out doing some running today. Yeah. Has Taki been able to train with the group at all? Or?
No, he's not been with the group, but he was out doing some running today. And it's about making the right decisions at the right time for him and the rest of the group, and what we think's right on the day as well.
How's Johan?
Yeah, Johan's still behind everybody else, to be honest. He's probably the only one that I don't think he's going to make the end of the season.
Week, no. Yeah. Obviously, there's potentially an opportunity for Kevin Long, whether it comes on Sunday or not. Him and Nathan Collins, have only played together in that 45 minutes against Aston Villa. As a former centre-half yourself, how difficult is that to adjust to playing a match with a new partner? I know they train all the time together. Is that a difficult thing to do? Or
if Nathan's had some great experience playing along with Taki, and for me he's above his years anyway with the amount of experience he's had. So you can say he's 20, but he's been playing first team football since he was 17. And Kevin's come in before and done well. If that's the partnership that's there, then that's fine. Listen, these lads are here to play. I've got faith in what they're doing. These are just the different times. Get in there and go for it. Take your opportunity. You're into 3 games of the season. You could be nothing to play for. Here you are. Take it on.
You've spoken about the amount of work you've done in the back cave, and I think you just said then you've watched Spurs enough to know everything about them. Yeah. How much, if at all, do you adjust your thinking, or might you adjust a shape or tweak the system at all based on the opposition and the obvious threat of Harry Kane and so on?
Yeah, I think you can. Everyone knows what Spurs do. Everyone knows the threats. You just you have a plan that you think's going to suit your group. I think that's the main thing. Don't try and plan it around as if you're playing with another team's players. It's got to suit what your group is. So that's what we've tried to do. We tried to give ourselves a plan amongst the group with us, what we think is going to give us the best chance of getting a performance on Sunday.
Have you seen a different side to the players this week, given that they're reacting for the first time under your sort of guidance on the back of a defeat? Has anything changed in that sense, or? No,
again, I still think it's normal for a day or two after a game when they first come in, they can be a little bit low. That's normal. People say it isn't it? Well, it is. But no, they've responded really well. We've had a good week, had a good week's training. We've been able to get on the grass, so we're in a good place this moment in time.
A couple of quick ones just to finish.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche has done his first interview since leaving this week, and in it he mentioned that after he got the news, he did the morning meeting, and he sort of sought you out to bring you into that meeting to sort of fill you in on what was what and how they'd gone about it that week. How sort of nice a touch was that from him, and does that sort of just show the mark of the man and the manager he was to?
You just said it.
You in?
Do you know what? I actually written that down here. I've actually written that down in some of my notes, that's the mark of the man that he is. So, and he's texted me after the games as well, and before the games. But so I wouldn't expect anything less from him, to be honest. So that's a mark of the man. I've not heard the interview myself at all, so I wouldn't know anything about it. But from what you're saying there, that doesn't surprise me than what he said.
And last one, and I know I ask it every week, but I know you're going game by game in terms of you being in this position. You've just won Manager of the Month, so you'd like to think you're as safe as ours is for the minute anyway.
Are you getting paid to just ask that one question?
I'm telling you, the one time I don't ask it, or the one time something's changed.
At this moment in time, I'll give you the same answer. It's just the next game. We're into the last week now. We know what we need to do.
Is your relationship with Alan? Do you speak often? Not at all. Every now and again, or
listen. He's in the same building as us over there. He popped in and see me the other day and said, "You need to go home. You need to go home because you've been here too long."
I need a boss like that.
Yeah. But no, listen. They're giving us a lot of support, as everybody else is doing. We know what we need to do in terms, and everyone's trying to help each other to try and do that. And that's the way it's been. That's the way it's been. And that's the way it's got to continue. Obviously.
Great stuff. Thanks.
No problem.
Best for Sunday.
No, thank you.
Just one quick one. You talked there about whether or not you can look forward to some pressure games. We've heard a lot of managers lately sort of talking about how much they look forward to managing at Tottenham Stadium, the reputation that place has built. Are you being able to savour some of the moments you're getting like that?
I don't know. I like the wins. I like them. You know, when you're in the game on the pitch and the stadium, you're just in the game. You know, you're not really taking a lot of notice of that, really. You might notice it when you first go out, when you get there, go, this is a nice ground. But when you're actually there itself, you're just so taken with the moment of what you're doing. You don't really take that in. You're too focused on what you're doing. Like I said, afterwards, if you get a positive result, then you enjoy it more.
Yeah. So you got, Tottenham on Sunday, you got Villa Park on Thursday. That's not something you think about in terms of those famous stadiums.
No, listen, it's unbelievable stadiums, unbelievable history. Obviously with Villa and Tottenham, have got this new one now. Of course, they're great places to play football in. And I think that's a good point. You go and playing in these arenas with full houses. It's good atmospheres. If you're a footballer, I know where I'd rather be playing. I know what I'd rather be doing. I'd rather be playing there than, no disrespect, playing somewhere else with nothing to play for and nowhere, not even a ground with any history or any atmosphere.